All right, everybody, it's me, Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio, getting you all set from 3 days away. And it is a big one. It's a Wobble Christmas, and we're far away from Christmas, but we get an early Christmas gift from Soar Championship Wrestling, and it couldn't be any bigger than the main event that is going to be happening. A big one, as we all know about Dean Fleming. He regains his championship away from Lou Gotti, so he's got that on the shoulder. And at the meeting, when that whole thing went down last month at the Gotti Effect, we had a surprise guest that showed up right at the end. We saw Nate the Great make his return. And when he made his return, we didn't know what we were going to expect. We didn't know what we were going to see. So kind of an interesting situation when it happened. So at the time when this whole thing went down, all of a sudden something happened. When they came across the next day, there was a match announced. It was a big one. I didn't think we were going to see it because we didn't know the status of Nate the Great. We didn't know how Dean Fleming was feeling about maybe going up against one of his big foes that he had. That having been said, the match was made. It's set from 3 days from now, and there's nothing that I can do more than except bring in our guests here on this special podcast for people to see. Now, guys, before we get into this is one thing I want us to go all at the same time, one at a time, or not at the same time, all at one at a time so we can hear everything. Remember, there's like a half-second delay, so be aware of that. So I want to go ahead and start it out with Nate the Great. As Nate the Great, I got to ask, when you showed up, you definitely caught me off guard. Didn't know you were going to be in the building because I was walking around the building the whole time as we had a guest commentator, and I didn't see you out there. Then you show up. What was your motivation to show up at the last show that happened over at the Dallas Elks Lodge?
You know, Sonny, that's something that a lot of people have asked me, and actually, there's quite a bit of story behind that. You know, a lot of people remember July of this past summer. I remember sitting on my steps in my home, and with tears in my eyes, you know, told everybody that I had to step away from wrestling, from Soar. And, you know, at the time, you know, I had broken my hand. I was dealing with some other nagging injuries that no one knew about that just kept flaring up. And, I still get a little emotional when I think about it. But when you go to the doctor and they look you dead in your eye and they tell you, hey, with everything that's going on, I really suggest and advise you to step away from this, you know, to do what's best for your health, what's best for your family. And, you know, that's what I did. But the truth is, you know, like when I first got involved in this, you know, I was just a fan. And I never knew that how hard it would be once you got involved in this business and it's in your blood, how hard it is to get out. And for several months, you know, I just, you know, I'm not going to lie, I was depressed. I was missing wrestling. I was missing everything that had to do with it. And the funny thing, the ironic thing was there was one person that reached out to me after that July night that I didn't expect. And it was Dean. Me and Dean, we've had a history. We've gone back and forth, toe to toe, and I never expected him to reach out to me, but he did. And you know, it was at that point that, you know, he asked me how I was doing.
Making sure there wasn't somebody dead and shit.
Do you guys hear something going on in the background?
I am. I'm hearing something in the background. It's kind of weird. Not sure. We might be getting a little feedback. Just go with it, and we'll check it. But well, let's do this, Nate. I mean, you mentioned that the first call that you got was from Dean Fleming. Let me ask you, Dean, when that whole thing went down, as far as that we're not going to see Nate the Great back in the wrestling, what was your feeling about it at the time?
I was a little shocked. I will say it upset me because, well, I helped bring him across the barrier and into the ring. And to see his progression from what we did last year this time to what he did in July was a big step there. He improved drastically and dramatically, and I grew a lot of respect for him. Now, that wasn't something I was going to say, to him at that time, but the respect I gained for him just kind of kept me down, seeing how much he was down. So I wanted to reach out to him just to see how he was doing.
So the actual idea of this match happening, we're at the end of the Gotti effect. Everybody's in the ring. The whole thing gets done. Who brings this on? How does this match actually get put together? Was it Nate the Great that bringing out the suggestion? Was it Dean Fleming? How did this whole thing happen? And then, since he's shaking his head, it was obvious Dean Fleming's. Why?
Here's why. Obviously, if you've been out to Soar the last about 3 to 4 months, you've probably noticed a different side of Dean Fleming. There's not as many underhanded tactics, if any, and I've started to change a little bit of the ways that I've been doing business, in the inside of that ring, outside of that ring, because there's more to life than being cutthroat. Yeah, there's morality. And when I step back and I realize what I put Nate Lawson before he was Nate the Great, what I put him and his family through, it just didn't sit right with me. And then as a graduation gift, because he is a graduating member of the Bumps and Bruises Academy, I extended an offer for a championship match. I'm hoping this is a piece of an olive branch that I can offer.
Well, let me ask you a question then, Nate. You heard just what the man said about the whole situation. I guess I got to ask you, and maybe I'm just a guy that kind of is a pessimist when it comes to things. Do you believe the olive branch that was extended out to you to be genuine? Or do you have something in the back of your head that says, well, maybe it sounds genuine, but I'm going to keep the antennas up?
Well, I think a part of that has to do with, him reaching out back in the summer. Don't get me wrong. I didn't expect him to reach out, but he reached out not just once, but more than once. And it was something where he kept checking on me, seeing how I was doing. And I checked on him. I would watch the Soar shows, the live feeds, and I'd see his progression, and, he became a true champion. And I began to develop a respect for him, not only for, we talk about me being a fan and turned to a wrestler, but Dean was a talent agent turned world champion. And, he recently just won the poll for Rookie of the Year. And the truth is, I've said it before and I'll say it again, game recognizes game. And there's nobody that, in my opinion, deserves the Rookie of the Year award more than Dean. He's put in the work. I know how tough he is, and I know what he can do in that ring. And so, I respect him not only for what he's done in the ring, but also for what he's done outside the ring personally with me. When I came back on the 9th, it was literally like, hey, I had been gone for 4 or 5 months, and I just had to see all my friends and all my family and feel that environment again. But I did. I wanted to come, and I wanted to congratulate Dean on becoming a 2-time Soar heavyweight champion. And it was just a show of respect, between two old adversaries who turned friends, I guess you might say. I think it's just I got respect for them. But I guess to answer your question directly, do I think it's genuine? I mean, I ask myself that question. You know, I can be optimistic. I can be pessimistic. It just depends on, you know, what side I want to look at it. But my guard will always be up. I'll say that.
Well, if your guard is not up, then you probably shouldn't be in a wrestling ring. Now, it could end up to be a very good match, and it could be, you know, come off really good as far as fairness is concerned. So I'll ask Dean, I mean, are you walking into this match going one-on-one, or, you know, are you a guy that maybe could take a step back as far as maybe 6 to 8 months ago, and the winner circle being in full force that could show up there in 3 days over at the big event at the Wobble Christmas? Or are you just going to show up and go one-on-one with Dean Fleming or with Nate the Great?
Now, obviously, the winner circle guys will still be there, but they have nothing to do with what's happening right now. Now, you could sit there and be pessimistic all you want, and no one can blame you. I've done a lot of evil and bad things. That's a fact. All right. But like I said, we're trying to turn a new leaf, make things anew. So you're going to get one-on-one with Dean Fleming.
Well, then let me ask you this. Since you're talking about the new turnaround of Dean Fleming, what is to become of the winner's circle? I mean, you've got some members in this. Is the winner's circle still there, or is it kind of detaching from everybody? How is the winner's circle going, and how is it affecting you right now?
I'll be completely honest. I've stepped away from there just a little bit because Persia, as you know, has taken over the day-to-day operations.
Sorry.
Got a fan. Yeah, so she's taken the day-to-day operations over for me, and as you can see, it's still running strong. You know, Hayden is still the monster that he is. Yeah, he's kind of turned a new leaf. How about last month? The Goons tried to get him to join, and he said no, because me and him are great best friends. So he's not going to turn his back on me. And then Prince Adam, he's a good competitor. Like I said, so it's still around. It's still going to be there.
Maybe a different type of winner circle that we can look forward to as far as the Dean Fleming is concerned. So now we got all this going on, and we got a big match going on that's going to happen one-on-one. If you believe Dean Fleming, heck, you never know. Maybe even Nate the Great might have someone else show up before. We just never know how it could end up. But that's keeping the antennae up that you could probably see with Dean Fleming as well. But that also says now, we got a big situation here. I've been all over social media getting set as we're moving close to a big event. I mean, a big event that happens in February. We got Soar Mania coming up here. Some big names coming in there, not even necessarily associated with Soar Championship Wrestling, but they're going to be making their debut a little bit. Now, I know you had a big part of bringing some of those guys into this one as far as the card that would be there. So, Dean Fleming, talk a little bit about Soar Mania and what we can maybe expect over there. They have some matches that have been signed that are really big matches. Really huge. It's going to be the biggest event of the season is what we're going to call it, because if we say year, it's just going to be tough to do because it's in February. Yes. So, I mean, if the biggest show of the year in 2 months, I get it. Okay. So it's the biggest show of our season. We've got a lot of the top independent wrestlers from around the country coming in, including the Machine, Brian Cage, Neil Dashwood, Cheeseburgers coming back through, Davey Boy Smith Jr. It can't be. It's hard to put into words exactly like how big this event's going to be, and part of the motivation behind it is
everybody loves WrestleMania. You
Yes.
know, that's the big thing. Not everybody can get out to WrestleMania, whether it be catching flights, buses, trains, getting the tickets for there, getting hotels while you're there. There's just a lot that goes into it. So we decided, let's put something big that's going to be here in DFW that everybody's going to clamor about and want to come out to. And that's what we came up with. We gave them the top people that they're going to recognize from around the country and said, let's put them all under one roof in one building, put all these great big matches into the ring, and let's pack this house out.
Definitely looking forward to that. And so I guess maybe the question is that I kind of got a sneak peek at the card on where it's at, my connections with the man, Sir Mo, and but I didn't see a very obvious name at the gentleman that is in the top right hand corner here, Nate the Great. I don't see you on this card. What's this all about? I mean, you know, if we're not on this, I mean, this is a big time. Can we expect to see you over at Soar Mania?
You know, Sonny, I can't answer that question right now. I mean, you know, we talk about this being the final chapter between me and Dean, but you know, to be honest, as I sit here and I get goosebumps, it might also be the final chapter for me.
Wow. Wait.
Well, go ahead, Sonny. I'll get on that in a minute. What you got, Sonny?
Well, I'm thinking, I mean, we got this big match, I mean, and everything that's going to be coming, and then we got this, I mean, this is a big show. Don't get me wrong. The Wobble Christmas is going to be big, but we're talking about it. If you, for lack of a better term, we're talking about the WrestleMania of Soar Championship Wrestling, and we're not going to see Nate the Great at the WrestleMania Soar Championship Wrestling.
Look, I mean, December the 7th for me was about graduation. For me, it was about completing what I started. You know, I started something, and because of circumstances beyond my control, like, I didn't get to finish it. And, you know, like, a lot's changed. You know, like, I've gotten married. I have a child on the way. My wife's pregnant. One and the same. But, you know, a lot of things have changed. And I don't really know. I mean, it's been a long time since I've been in the ring. I don't know what I have left. So I don't know.
Well, Dean, that doesn't look like it's sitting very well with you, my friend.
Yeah, it's not. It's not at all. Is this doubt that I'm sensing out of Nate the Great? Is that what this is? Because I'm going to go ahead and say it this way, Nate. If you're not going to step into the ring and be the same Nate the Great that I went to battle with, that we went to street fights, last man standing, inside of a freaking cage, if it's not going to be the same Nate the Great, don't show up. Because I can tell you this right now, I have learned some new things. I have other tricks up my sleeve. I have showed you what I've wanted you to see. There's stuff you haven't that I can break out. And if you have any sort of doubt in your mind, you will not beat me, and you shouldn't show up because you're going to waste everybody's time. I don't want Nate Lawson the doubter. I want Nate the Great that was confident and wouldn't care to step over the guardrail when he was a fan to get into my face. Where's that Nate the Great at? Huh? Answer me.
Nate, he's asking you a question, and I don't think it's an unfair question. Well, because let's just think of it this way, Nate. What if you were to win the belt from Dean Fleming? I mean, you know, what if you were to win that belt? Are you going to retire and just open up the belt for everybody to go after, or are you going to defend that belt? I mean, you got a big match. Are you going to show up? Are you going to try to win that belt, put it on your shoulder?
Hold on, I'll stop you right there. Are you going to answer him, Nate? That's what I want to know. Or are you going to be the same self-doubting Nate that we just saw? I want answers here, man, because I offered this to you because I'm expecting Nate the Great. And here you are doubting yourself.
Listen, man. You know what you and me have done in the past. You know, every time we step in that ring, you know what we're willing to do to win. And yeah, you checked up on me when I was down, and I appreciate that. And there's part of me that doesn't want to ruin that. Because the truth is, Dean, I don't care how long it's been since I've been in the ring. There's one thing that I still got, and that's the spear. And the last time I hit you with that spear, you didn't get up. So are you going to be able to deal with that if it happens?
Well, we termed this, the final chapter. Dean Fleming, here's the question. If this is the final chapter that we are going to call it, if you were to lose that belt, are you saying that you wouldn't be in line to win that championship? Are you going to just let that go? This is the final chapter. You named it, Dean Fleming. So if Nate the Great is to beat you in 3 days at a Wobble Christmas, are you not going to put yourself in line to regain that championship away from Nate the Great?
I guess you'll have to come out Saturday and see if he'll actually beat me.
Wow.
All right.
Leaving the door open as well as Dean Fleming can do. I mean, so we got the big one. We don't know where it's going. Nate.
That's what you want?
That's exactly what's going to happen. That's exactly what I want. I want a motivated Nate Lawson. If you really feel like it's going to happen, then show up Saturday and do it. Don't talk about having the spear.
I've never had a thought, but I always will. All right, man. All right. All
hey,
time.
Guys,
Hey, I can forgive, but guess what? I don't forget.
Wow, guys, I am telling you right now, forget the fact that it's a Wobble Christmas. This is a main event that you don't want to miss. Guys, 3 days over at the Dallas Elks Lodge. If you have enough to miss this one, man, you might miss the barn show. We've seen Nate the Great and Dean Fleming go at it one-on-one and actually be nominated as the match of the year. And so if you miss the quote-unquote final chapter, you might just really be missing out. Guys, Dallas Elks Lodge, 7:30 bell. If you miss it, you are gone. I don't know where you want to be on a Saturday night, especially with this main event. Never mind the other great matches that you're going to see at Soar Championship Wrestling. Nate the Great, Dean Fleming. Dean, I'll give you your last word, then I'm going to go to Nate. Dean.
When you show up, I better see the great. I'm not getting in there with somebody that's fake.
I'm going to step to you. I'm going to step over you. I'll see you Saturday.
See you Saturday, Nate. Bring it.
There you have it. Get over there Saturday as we are going to kick this one off. I'm excited about what's going to happen at Soar Championship Wrestling Saturday night. 3 days. You get on over there, get your tickets, make sure you show up, because if you miss this main event, you're just not a wrestling fan. Make sure you get there. I am Sonny Clark, the hardest working man in sports radio for Soar Championship Wrestling. Sir, Moore, and Denise, we'll see you Saturday night at 7:30 bell.